hiking the Box Springs Mountain Loop. Parking is 5.7 miles north of the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley. Take the Pigeon Pass Road exit to Box Springs Mountain Road and park in the trailhead parking lot as the road ends. The difficulty rating for the hike is easy to moderate. The hike begins. From the parking lot, I began heading south. Then, I veered right on the Edison Trail. A little high stepping to start things off. It then cuts across some open spaces. Leaving the trail to go toward Peak 2602. A faint use trail goes all the way up. Getting a clear look at Peak 2602. The use trail continues on up. Doing a bit of improvising near the top. Peak 2602 became my first peak on the loop. On the summit of Peak 2602. The Summit 360. Moving on from the peak. The views seem like a more remote place than suburban Southern California. Taking in the scenery. Dropping back down to the Edison Trail. Back on the loop and approaching Box Springs Mountain Lookout. On top is a communications tower. After reaching the tower, I continued to the lookout point. Approaching the lookout. Arriving at Box Springs Mountain Lookout. Elevation, 2,960 feet. The Summit 360. Summit views. Returning to the loop. Continuing on a utility trail toward the high peaks. Utilizing the power lines to keep me moving in the right direction. And then, there was a wildlife sighting. Maybe my sudden zoom scared it away? the path approaches the high towers. It then connects with Box Springs Mountain Road. Next up is Peak 3001. Approaching Peak 3001. It didn't take long to arrive at the gated summit of Peak 3001. Looking over at the next peak, Box Springs Mountain itself. Passing some mountaintop installations on the way. Then just like that, I was approaching Box Springs Mountain. But a short steep section made me need to earn it. On the summit of Box Springs Mountain. Elevation, 3,080 feet. Since my goal was a loop of the peaks, it was time to get on with it. This would be the highest point in the hike. The next nearby stop is the overlook point over the M. Approaching the M, which is a notable visual landmark in the Inland Empire. The Moreno Valley M. It is prominently visible down below at street level. I then briefly retraced my steps to get back on the loop. As I start to go downhill slightly, Peak 2866 appears ahead. Getting a good look at my next targeted peak. Once I got close, I left the road to ascend the peak. There is a brief bit of bushwhacking, but nothing too serious. Approaching the summit. However, I somehow managed to skip shooting video of the ascent. I then dropped back down to the road. Time to complete the loop. 2 more peaks sit off the road, but I had plans to include them in a different hiking plan. From there, it is a rather easy return back to the parking lot. Once arriving, there was a wild burro enjoying the shade. Mission accomplished. Box Springs Mountain Park can be completed in one long comprehensive visit, or in a series of shorter satisfying hikes. I prefer the latter method.